Morning, everyone. It's Jamie from Independent Street NOLA, or Independent Street Tarot and Seasons of Ritual. And I'm here to talk about the dark moon in Pisces, which it's still the dark moon, but it's actually has moved into Aries already. These moons have about a 3-day window. So this would be the last day to be in this dark moon energy. When it's the dark moon, the sun and the moon are together and the moon isn't visible. It's dark outside. So I always use this time as sacred rest. It's when the feminine and the masculine are together. Um, it is time just to kind of relax. And things will get moving again pretty soon. Actually tomorrow, because the moon will start to show itself. Um, and a lot of times I speak on this because I usually do a dark moon video, but also it is a reminder that we need to rest. We don't always have to be constantly working. I know a lot of times, especially in the spiritual community, when we work with manifestations and just improvement, like improving ourselves, it seems like it's something that we always have to consciously be involved with in the 3D realm. And so sometimes we ask, when do I get to rest? And so dark moons to me is always the sacred time of rest. It's when our masculine and feminine get to be together. And so you get to be together with yourself. Um, as I always say, it is this time of you and your beloved, because you are your own best beloved. And right now, interesting enough, people are really resting. I've had so many people talk about how tired they are, me included. And then we just had daylight savings. I have no idea. My body is freaking out. It says it's 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's like, no, it's not. I don't know why you keep lying to me. Rude, but it is. So now we have to go with this time shift. And and I want to actually, I'm just going to talk about this for a second. So jumping timelines, a lot of times we talk about jumping timelines and um what does that mean exactly? And it's interesting that I'm talking about this with this dark moon in Pisces slash Aries. Uh but moving forward, I mean, I guess moving forward it makes sense because we've hit so many karmic ending points up until this point. And right now I was looking at the oh, I can't minimize. Okay, I was looking at the chart for today. And if you look at the planets right now, they're all in this like 10th, 11th, and 12th houses, right? So, and those are the houses of at the top of the chart. So usually that's like expression being seen. But the 12th house is karmic, karma, not karmic endings. Maybe now, but karma. The 11th house is usually like relationships. So we're moving out a lot of these karmic relationships, these karmic patterns. um we're moving out of this idea that our lives are fated by astrology. I've never believed that, and it was really hard because I've been doing astrology my whole life. And it was really hard to read stuff when I was younger because I was like, but what if this isn't true? That's what I would just say. And not in a what if this isn't true, like fuck you sort of way, but like why are you telling me like this is exactly how my life's gonna go when we all have free will and we're on a free will planet. And that has always stuck out to me. And it wasn't a popular opinion, I can tell you that, growing up, but here we are, 2024, and it was like it was priming the pump, if you will. So know that we're moving out of this idea of things are fated by astrology charts and moving more into this idea of ruling our own destiny, co-creation, and going to this idea of jumping timelines. So some examples would be, because I see a lot of us jumping timelines, and I just don't think we think of that as jumping a timeline, but you know, getting stuff done. So now that you are able to run your own business, or you know, doing something and thinking, holy shit, now I'm in a new tax bracket. Okay, that's jumping a timeline because that's changing your entire life. Deciding to do something for you and living out how you feel, that's jumping a timeline. Because when we're moving away from all those faded stories, that's jumping timelines. Ending karma is jumping a timeline. It could be just like, um, you know, I just like I just keep going like I decided to work for myself, or I decided to become more spiritual so I can I can do what I want. I'm not following like social norms. Okay, that's all jumping timelines. So I just wanted to bring that up because I see when I'm talking to you guys are doing such a good job, and all these miraculous things are happening. Or like if you're a healer and and you decide, well, I'm going to start putting my stuff out there on social media, or I'm going to start hosting events, just these different things that you wouldn't do in the past, but you're doing now. That's jumping timelines. So at this time, or last day of rest, really notice that. Notice where you are jumping timelines. Notice like, holy shit, this is actually happening. The signs are there. They may be subtle. Some of them might not be so subtle. But even coming to some conclusions in your mind, like, I'm not going to think that way anymore. That's not my story. I do feel more stable. I know I can do these. And if before you never had those thoughts, that's jumping timelines. To me, that is jumping timelines. Um, right now, Mercury has moved into Aries, and Neptune is at 27 degrees of Pisces. So Neptune, Pisces ruler, is in these degrees or degrees of rulership, or degrees of knowing, degrees of I can't think of the word, it'll come back to me, which has been happening all season. Pisces season is goofy for me. I can tell you that for right now. I have fixed air. I'm an Aquarius, so um, swimming, paddling, dog paddling. Here we are. But Mercury has moved into Aries. And Aries is that I am presence. So it's having a conversation with Neptune, mastery. Neptune is in degrees of mastery of Pisces. And so it's starting this new conversation of who am I now? I am, right? And because it's able to talk to Neptune, who's in these degrees of mastery of Pisces, and Pisces is letting go in its highest realm. Pisces is rebirth, turning over. Pisces is that dream realm. Okay, how can I bring these dreams into reality right now? So this is a good time to have that conversation with what do you want to be, and who are you now moving forward? Okay, allowing that old idea of you to keep getting transmuted in these waters of Pisces, this is the time. And it doesn't have to necessarily be setting this intention, right, with the dark moon. It is just observing. It's you and yourself being together with yourself, but just like observing how far you've come. Having this conversation of what has changed in my life, what is new. Tomorrow we'll get that sliver of moon, then we'll start moving real fast. So we're heading into eclipse season. Um, and there's a big conjunction coming up in April as well. So really use this day of rest and really see where you have jump timelines. Um, the sun, the moon, Saturn, and Neptune are all in Pisces, and that is the sun and moon and Saturn are all personal planets. Neptune, of course, is an outer planet. But when you have your sun and moon together in Pisces, allow this slowing down to happen. Allow this healing to happen. Really take a good look at yourself. Saturn's in there, and Saturn does want to tell you, look how far you come. Look what a great job you've done. Um, things have been bananas on this planet for years, and the last 4 to 6 years have been extra bananas. So but I can tell you, I really do believe we're moving into more stability, especially with Saturn and Pisces. And I know that when Helen and I used to talk about Saturn being in Pisces, or Saturn in Pisces, I would always say like this is the end of just that illusion and like the narcissism and like things not making sense, like us looking at one thing but then being told another, like um, just take Donald Trump, for instance, when he was just saying he would grab women by their genitals, and everyone was like, oh, he didn't mean it, but no, he really did. So, and then for some reason for a country, we were like, what, did he not mean it? I mean, this is weird. Blah. Okay. Well, all that little energy is leaving. And Saturn only moved to 7 degrees of Pisces when it went in. And now it's going to go from 7 degrees to 19 degrees of Pisces. And so I always say, if you think of yourself as a human being, 1 to 7 years old is a huge difference. But 7 to 19 years old is even a bigger difference. You've become more mature, you've have 19 more years, everything's changed, you're able to drive. You get more responsibilities. So don't dishearten with Saturn in Pisces. It's really going to make things more stable and more tangible, but also with us, now it's going to allow us to live our dreams. It's going to allow us to live the way we want to live. It's going to actually give us more of a voice to our authentic selves. And so this is a big year. And Saturn stays in Pisces until 2026, I believe. So, you know, but see it as like a marching forward. It's 1 degree at a time. But it's going to keep as Saturn keeps moving through Pisces, it's like things start getting more clearer. The fog starts to lift, the haze starts to lift, we start to understand how to use the mystical powers of Pisces. When I always think of Pisces, because it is mutable, I always see us like halfway in the water. If there was an in-between point, we can still see up, but we can also look down. And it is when we're in that middle, are we in water? Is it a dream state? What is being birthed in there? And do we want to take them up, or do we want to let things go down? But it's up to us, right? It's up to us to say, well, if I look down, um, why am I not looking up? And if I'm looking up, why don't I look down? And you can use this alchemy of Pisces for creation. I mean, that's why it's the mystic. That's why it is, you know, Christ consciousness is Pisces. When Christ was born, that brought in that age of Pisces. But he resembles to, I mean, resembles to me like he died and then he was reborn, right? He died from the physical self and then said, look, I'm back as energy, right? And that to me is Pisces. So it is, you can go in looking one way and come out looking another, basically. But it is this idea of rebirth and renewal. And it should be a great mystery. I know a lot of times we want things to make sense, and then I did this, I did that. But the other good thing about being in Pisces season is just kind of surrendering to Pisces season and allowing things to just show up how they're supposed to be. And I really think you guys are doing a really good job with that, quite honestly. You know, every time I think, oh, I'm doing a good job surrendering, it comes through. I could do a little bit better. And I appreciate that. So, but this Pisces season, I've been doing a lot of just letting the chips fall where they may. And so far, so good. So let me see if I'm gonna check my little notes here. Um, well, a lot of this I wrote for yesterday, so we'll just leave it at that. But keep surrendering. We're moving towards we sprung forward. We're gonna have the spring equinox here on the 19th. So we're gonna have an eclipse and then another eclipse. So things are really gonna start pick up. So enjoy this day of rest. Allow yourself to surrender. If things come up and you're like, how can I figure this out? Just say, you know what, maybe I'm just gonna hand over to Pisces and see what happens. And then, go get yourself a cup of water or something and take it easy. So I'll see you guys soon. If anything pops up on the old radar, I will do another video. Thanks for watching, and enjoy this day of rest. Be with yourself, and then we'll get moving tomorrow.